The Daffy Duckaroo is a Warner Brothers cartoon from 1942, directed by McCabe and written by Melvin, Millar and Don Christensen, with voices provided by Blanc and Sara Berner. And honestly, I didn't really care for it. Daffy Duck as a character is okay, the animation quality is okay, there's some pretty good music in it, and the editing's fine. But the narrative I didn't love. I always find Warner Brothers cartoons that deal with Native American characters to be a little bit awkward. Now, to begin with, it didn't seem too awkward because Daffy, who is a cowboy character, falls for this female Native American, but it's a duck. And because it's a duck rather than a person, it felt a little less awkward, and I felt like it is less of a caricature when it's a duck because it's less realistic. But then we bring in some other characters and it just gets a little bit more peculiar, and I don't love the decisions that Daffy made, and I think the narrative progressed. Well, the pacing of the narrative was okay, but the things that happened, the direction it took, I didn't love that much. I didn't really care for it. Some of the Native American characters are obviously very questionable and very stereotyped. That's not to say it's the worst Warner Brothers cartoon like this that I've seen. There are definitely some a lot worse, but it still doesn't make it good just because it's not the worst. But even when we take that out of the equation, I just feel like the narrative wasn't that fascinating. And as I said, when Daffy first meets this duck character, I thought, okay, it could be a bit interesting, but it didn't appeal to me. As I said, the animation style is pretty good, the music is good, the editing is absolutely fine. No problems with any of that. And the narrative concept is okay, but I just feel like the execution was quite boring. And then you throw in some problematic interpretations, or depictions rather, of Native American characters, and it just means it's a less than good cartoon. I'd recommend it if you're a fan of Daffy Duck. I'd say it's probably worth watching once. It's not horrific, but it's definitely not going to be one that I'd recommend at the top of any favourite lists or anything. The Daffy Duckaroo didn't really interest me that much, but I can acknowledge that there are some decent bits of it, and certainly it could be worse.